What's up, guys? I just wanted to give a quick update before the season starts, right? And what we've been working on over here. Here, you can see we have the brand new 2023 YFZ 450R Special Edition. It's a little torn down right now and getting ready for some upcoming races. You can see we've already put some nice Hauser cross-country arms on the front and some Fox floats. So that's a new setup for this year. We'll be trying that out. I've got, a little bit of time on it. I think I've got, 1.6 hours or something on it. And it's feeling good so far. So we just have to do a little bit of fine tuning. A lot of other stuff swapped over, right? So we've got the Nerf bars swapped over from the old quad, which is up here on the stand, still torn down. We're going to have to get that put back together, and we'll hopefully get that up for sale here soon with a bunch of the brand new stock parts on it, right? So over here is our little pile of stock stuff that we still have to go through. This is the old man's quad. He's got the suspension sent out, getting redone by DeRisi right now. So I'm going to be throwing this new shock on. This is a shock that I got used, and I just got it set up for me, and rebuilt, all the seals redone to get ready for the season. So I've been working with AJ down at 193 Suspension and Engines for that. He's going to be helping me out a lot this year, so I appreciate the help from AJ. We got some other parts here, some new stuff from Cecco Racing that I still have to open and install. We just got that this week. Pretty excited to be working with Rick down at Cecco Racing as well. That should be pretty cool. We got some other small stuff too. Kill switch, some brake line holders and stuff like that. Just a couple more small parts that we need to throw on there so we can get some testing done before the season starts. You can see some other stuff too, right? We still have the old tires on there. On the hyper wheels, we'll be changing those out for some fresh Obors. Obor is going to be offering contingency for Nioa this year, which is pretty exciting. So we're going to try and work with them and maybe get a little bit of money by just earning some race wins, hopefully this year, or at least some podiums. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get to work on this, and I will give you an update in a couple minutes. All right, so I just got the rear shock mounted up. You can see the quad is on the ground. It's not on the stand anymore. So next, I just pulled the rear grab bar off the stock one. This is the stock one here, and I'm about to unwrap some of this Cecco stuff. These are the fender brackets, and this is the grab bar itself. And this I'm just going to save for later. Just the rear number plate. So we'll get some graphics on that and then get it mounted up. But it's nice. Everything comes with fresh hardware, so that's definitely a plus. Some of this stuff you just have to reuse the stock stuff. But I'm going to open this stuff up and get it installed. Shouldn't take me very long. It's only a couple bolts to get it installed. But we'll get that on, and then next we will work on the front bumper. All right, I just got everything unwrapped. And what's pretty cool about this is these fender supports are removable, right? They're their own separate piece. So if you look at the stock one, the fender supports are built in. And these are also made out of steel, which means they're going to be a lot heavier duty than these aluminum ones. And part of the problem that comes with the aluminum ones that are built in like that, I can actually show you on the old quad, because this is a problem that I had. I don't know if you can see that, but if you look at this grab bar here, this whole fender support snapped off, so there was nothing supporting this fender, meaning it's going to flop around all the time. With the Cecco ones, you can just replace them if they break, right, which is really nice. And I think you can actually just order these brackets right on the Cecco site and use them with any grab bar, right? So if you have ones that break off, you can just chop the other side off and use these steel ones, and they'll be a lot heavy. They'll be pretty heavy duty, and you'll be able to pretty much, replace any ones that are broken, and they should last forever, as far as I can see. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing installed, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I did get the grab bar mounted up. I did run into one problem, but that's just because of my rear shock reservoir here, the bolt. So it goes through these bolts right here, and the bolt just through the fender supports and through the reservoir mount was just a little too short, so I'm going to go out and get some longer bolts. But other than that, it installed pretty easy, and it looks good, feels sturdy. I went with the 4-inch drop, powder coated black. Just the drop makes it so much easier to get the thing unstuck. If you do get stuck, obviously you never want to get stuck, but in the case that you do, that drop just helps you get that little bit of extra leverage to pull it out of a rut or, over a log or whatever you're stuck on. So that's the one I went with. Next step is going to be getting the bumper thrown on. So let's go ahead and work on that. So I just got the bumper installed. It looks good. You can see it right there. There's a couple of things that I look for when I look for a bumper, right? Obviously protection is the #1 thing. But I also like to have some area where you can grab it and lift the front end up, right? So the Cecco one you can grab right there. There's plenty of room for your hand underneath too if you want more leverage. And it seems like it's pretty heavy duty. It went on super easy, probably the easiest bumper I've ever installed. These top holes are actually slotted, which really help. If you've ever put a bumper on before, they're almost impossible to get them perfectly lined up. So having them be slotted that little bit is very helpful. I just wanted to show off some of my old bumpers that I have. So we have this RJR one here. This one was also pretty heavy duty. But the holes weren't slotted. Once I tagged a tree, it got a little mangled up, and there was really no way to straighten that one back up. This one was from last year. This was a factory 43. This one was decent. I liked how large the handhold areas were, but pretty soon after I got it, I fell off the back on the start, and the quad kind of took off and ran into a side-by-side and smashed that thing, and it was all mangled up. So that was pretty much trashed after that. We tried putting it back. I ran it the rest of the season, and it did pretty good, but once it was bent, there was really no straightening it back out. And you can see the welds actually broke here on the bottom mount. We had to kind of slap our own little welds on there to hold it together just to get it through the rest of the season. And then this one right here, this is the stock one. There's like nowhere to grab with your hands, and it doesn't really offer any protection because it's so small. So I really wanted to get that one off there as quickly as I could. But yeah, the Cecco one looks nice. This is their low profile one. They have a larger one to help with blocking some of the mud and things during the races, keeping your radiator a little bit cleaner. But I liked the look of the smaller one. We'll probably put some decals on the front there for numbers and stuff like that. But yeah, it went on really well. The only issue I had was with this little bracket here from BCC Skids. This is their no drill option. And I had the issue with the stock bumper too. So it's nothing with the Cecco bumper. It's with this bracket itself. It's really hard to get a socket on the bolts that hold the lower mounts on. So you have to use a wrench, but they're pretty tight and they have Loctite on them, so they're not going to go anywhere. But you can see the supports for this, how fat they are, right? That's like the width of my whole hand there. So I think it's going to be pretty strong. Hopefully it holds up. I'm pretty cursed with bumpers. They kind of fall apart every time. You know, I get a brand new one, I go out even practicing, and I pretty much hit a tree right away. So we'll see how this one holds up. I'm pretty excited about it. I want to thank Rick again for the support that he's given me this year. He's given me a pretty good deal on this stuff, but yeah, I want to, you know, spread the word. Cecco Racing, he does a lot for the 4x4 stuff. Here's one of his bumpers on a 4x4. And that thing has been abused, right? It's hit a lot of trees. If you know my dad, he likes to tag trees a lot, right? He's a little bit crazy out there on the track for an old man. So, but his bumper held up great. So I'm sure this one will hold up pretty good too. Bumpers are tricky because you don't want to make them too strong, because then you start, you know, bending and twisting the frames. But I think this one's going to work well this year, and I'm excited to try it out. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is just change these grips out. These are the old ones. You can see there's nothing left, right? This one's even worse. It's straight through to the plastic tube on that one. Basically zero grip left on that. These are the brand new ones here. I run the ODI Ruffian grips, the lock-on type. I think they're the best. They have the best grip to them. They can be a little harsh on your hands, but the softer ones with the more tread on them, I've noticed they just pack with mud, and if it's a mud race and your hands keep slipping off, then you're just going to be in trouble. So I like running these ones. They're pretty thin, and they have a ton of grip to them. And with the lock-on stuff, you don't have to worry about, you know, glue or anything like that. So they're super easy to install, and I've never had any issues with them. As you can see, I run them down till they're pretty bare. I'm going to go ahead and get these thrown on the quad, and then I'll probably be done. So these things are super simple to install. You just slide them on, right? I already got the end caps on there. You just slide them on like that. They have two little Allen head bolts in there. You just kind of find them. Sorry, I'm trying to do this while looking at the camera. And then you just snug those down. And once those are tight, this thing's not going to go anywhere. And then I'll just flip the hand guards back down, and they'll be good to go. So it's pretty straightforward. Super simple to install these, right? So you just snug those things up. Boom, that grip's not going to go anywhere. So just like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Again, I just want to say thank you to Rick down at Cecco Racing. He's making a ton of stuff for sport quads now. So if you go to ceccoracing.com, you can check out all of his stuff that he has for sale. It's everything he builds is super high quality. So, you know, make sure you check him out. And I want to give a shout out to AJ at 193 Suspensions and Engines. He has a Facebook page if you want to get in touch with him. Super quick turnarounds. I know during the off season, you know, it's hard to get stuff back, you know, especially quick. He does a great job of getting the stuff done, getting it sent back. The front shocks I had done a couple months ago, and from the day I shipped them out to when I had them back on my front porch, it was less than a week. So, you know, super fast turnaround times on that. The rear shock took a little bit longer, but it was also during, you know, Christmas and all of that. So it was still only a week or two before I had the shock back, and it's all back together now. So hopefully the next video will be out doing some riding and some testing on all this stuff, get that rear shock broken in so we can make some adjustments. And then from there, next race is going to be Motorama, which is an arena cross race. It's kind of fun. It's in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We race there almost every year. We didn't go last year, but we'll be back this year. So that'll be fun. And then the plan is to go down to Florida to hit the Florida and Georgia GNCCs that are going to be happening in March. And then after that, it's going to be Iowa till the end of the year. So yeah, that's pretty much it.